Mr. President.
Senator from Wyoming.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I rise today to discuss the Senate's confirmation process, because today Senate committees are beginning their hearings. Starting to hear from the nominees, from President-elect Donald Trump, qualified nominees. We're going to hear from many of the nominees this week, and I just heard the minority leader talk about what's happening today, because at this very moment, Pete Hegseth is testifying in the Armed Services Committee. He is the President's nominee to be the Secretary of Defense. I've been following these hearings closely. Pete Hegseth is giving strong answers to tough questions. He is confident, he is knowledgeable, and he should be confirmed quickly. We have a significant problem in our military with morale and with recruitment, and Pete Hegseth is the right person to address those issues of military readiness. Mr. President, the incoming administration is ready to act. We're ready to act and deliver on the historic mandate that President Trump won in November. His victory in the Electoral College and the popular vote gives him a mandate to undo the damage of the current administration and to unleash new American prosperity. President Trump understands the old saying that personnel is policy. That's why he nominated his entire cabinet before Thanksgiving, and it is a strong team. Doug Bergman, Chris Wright, Lee Zeldin will take the handcuffs off of American energy. Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth and John Ratcliffe, well, they'll restore American strength. No more weakness from America on the world stage. Scott Bessent will stop a $4 trillion tax increase. Pam Bondi will stop the weaponization of the Justice Department, and she will actually enforce the law. Kristi Noem, she'll make sure the border is secure. These nominees are not a return to business as usual. Business as usual gave us painfully high prices. Business as usual gave us wide open borders. Business as usual gave us the disastrous death of soldiers and the fall of Afghanistan. These nominees by President Trump are bold choices. They're motivated, they're skilled, and they are committed to the safety and security of every American. Most importantly, they show that President Trump is serious about bringing fresh eyes and a new outlook to Washington, D.C. That's exactly what the American people voted for in November. Senate Republicans are committed to get President Trump's team in place quickly. Our committee chairs are working aggressively to give each nominee a fair and speedy consideration. That's how the Senate had operated historically, especially when faced with such a mandate from the American people. Mr. President, in 2009, President coming into office Obama had 7 cabinet nominees confirmed on his very first day in office. Within 8 days of taking office, he had 14 nominees confirmed. All but 5 of his nominees in 2009 were confirmed by voice vote. President Trump deserves the same deference. It's interesting to me to hear the Democrat leader talk about Republicans rushing the process this year. Well, 4 years ago, Senator Schumer pledged to hold hearings right away, he said, for President Biden's nominees. He pledged to hold votes on Inauguration Day. He said, and I quote, "It's traditional for a new president." Well, I believe Senator Schumer was right to move quickly. But now that the shoe is on the other foot, Democrats should work in good faith with us, with the Republicans, to uphold that tradition for President Trump. I have my doubts. The Democrat leader reportedly told his caucus to create fireworks at this week's hearings of our nominees. Well, we've seen Democrat obstruction before. Due to Senate Democrat obstruction, President Trump had only 5 nominees confirmed in January during his first term. We saw obstruction for the sake of obstruction. Americans now have chosen a new direction. They chose this president, and the president's victory was decisive. Elections have consequences, and you and I know that, Mr. President. This week, the United States Senate is engaging in our constitutional duty of advice and consent. Advice and consent means to deliberate, to debate. It means giving advice to the nominees, and we are doing that and have done it. But it's no excuse to distract and delay, or to slander and then to try to search and destroy. The Senate's going to follow the mandate of the American people and confirm President Trump's strong nominees. We will do it swiftly. We are committed to working around the clock, including nights and weekends, if Democrats choose to deliberately delay. With this majority, with our new president-elect, we will deliver a new direction for America. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor. Note the absence of a quorum.